Hey, welcome back to the 6th Gear Garage. Today, we're going to see everything that's wrong with my imported 1994 VX Limited Land Cruiser. Well, let's start with the big one first. On my way home from buying this vehicle, second gear stopped working, as well as overdrive, and the ECT button had no effect on the shifting performance, and it ended up being a shift solenoid for the second gear. I went ahead and replaced that already, so that's good, and that was my first major repair for this vehicle. I replaced all 4 solenoids while I had that apart, and the total for parts was $200 for the 4 solenoids, plus $25 for the FIPG. And I documented that repair, so I'll have an upcoming video on how to replace the solenoids and save yourself a lot of money, because they're very expensive to have them replaced at the dealership. Now that it's mechanically sound, I can focus on the long list of other things that are wrong with this vehicle. Not sure how that happened, but I gotta fix that. These getting rusty is a pretty common Toyota thing, so I'll have to refinish those. Let's open the hood and I'll show you a couple more things I found. Oh wait, there's one. Needs new hood struts. So when I bought this, the seller told me that the washer fluid tank would leak dry after a couple days of filling it. So I pulled it out and noticed that on the bottom where the pump for the headlight washers went in, this rubber thing is all chewed up. Should be a tight fitting rubber grommet, and as you can see, it is not. And they tried to glue it and that didn't work. So I took it out. I tried to put a plug in there just so I could use this and just bypass the front washers for now, and that didn't work. So I'm on the hunt for this part right here, and unfortunately it was never offered in the US, so I'm still looking for that. In the meantime, I just have no washer fluid. And while I had this out, I found another problem: rust. I bought this because it was supposedly rust-free. There, however, is a giant hole right there that I somehow didn't see when I looked in the fender, because as you can see, it goes all the way through. And I looked farther down here, and there's a little bit more right there. So that's pretty much a normal spot for Toyotas. I'm not that surprised, but being that it's from Japan where they don't use road salt, I was a little taken back by that. You can see the hole right there. So I'm gonna have to go through and repair all this summer and patch that up before winter comes around. There's some right here on this seam. This isn't too bad yet, but it's gonna get ugly if I don't take care of it soon. So while I had all this stuff apart, I was interested in taking a look at the headlight washers and how they work. And they work pretty well. However, this one's still intact. I accidentally bumped the one on the driver's side and it disintegrated. I looked online, it's a common problem. Here's what's left of it. I guess the plastic just gets so brittle over time from just heat, and not to mention the hardware inside rusts, that they can crumble very easily. This part was all that was left on there, and I went to see if I could remove it, and it snapped off as well. This plastic is just so brittle after 25 years. I gotta figure that out. And once again, these were never offered in the US, so I'm on the hunt for some headlight sprayers. They're aftermarket wheels, and they're actually a 3-piece wheel, but they are in a rough shape, and I think they're beyond a polish or a repaint. These are gonna need to be media blasted. They are quite crusty. So I'm looking for another set of 16 by 8 inch wheels, even OEM wheels, just to put on so I can take these off and get these properly refinished. All right, climbing back inside here. Oh, cigarette burn, and once again, these seats were never available on US models, so chances are I'm not gonna find a replacement seat or another cushion cover. But I can live with that. One really awesome feature of the JDM Import 80 Series Land Cruiser is the ice maker. And this has a built-in refrigerator and even an ice maker, but it was missing the ice cube trays. This is the refrigerated area in here, and inside this little compartment here is 2 little tray spaces. However, I did find 2 brand new ice cube trays from Rocky Mountain Imports up in BC, Canada. It's been pretty cold here. I haven't had a chance to try these out yet, but I am going to try this out real soon, and I will get a video of my Land Cruiser making ice cubes. These are all parts that I found inside the vehicle when I bought it and cleaned it out. This is from one of the seats. I should probably figure out where that stuff goes. I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with this seat because there's no spring on this lever like there should be. So the previous owner who imported this vehicle last year installed this Pioneer radio, which is pretty nice. And I was out here the first couple nights I had it trying to figure out how to use the radio and sync my phone. And I was sitting here doing all this in the driveway. I heard this loud pop. It sounded like a battery exploding. I couldn't figure out what it was. Then I looked up on the dash. Oh, I have a new dash crack now. Which isn't a huge deal because it was already cracked right here. That's right in the middle. So eventually I'm going to have to take this dash off, and I'll never find a new one in the US that's not cracked. So I'll have to recover this, and that'll be a fun project because that's something I've wanted to learn how to do because almost every dashboard in all of my 80s Toyota pickups is also cracked. So if you look at the rear view mirror, you can see there's these weird stains around the perimeter. And I guess this is a common problem on the Land Cruisers. I have a fix for this that's going to be really nice and update the vehicle as well. So stay tuned for that video. All right, there's one more thing up in the front of the vehicle that drives me nuts that I have to fix right away. And that's the seatbelt. When you go in and you go to put it on, you got to pull it real slow. Because if you pull it too fast, it locks up. And it's actually cooperating right now, but there are times when it takes me between 2 and 5 minutes to get the seatbelt out because every time you pull it, it locks. There are days when I literally cannot hop in this car and leave because I can't get the seatbelt to come out. So you got to pull it about a 1/4 inch at a time, let it back in, do the same thing over and over and over until it goes far enough across to reach. And also it's kind of frayed here, and this here is a good sign that these 130,000 kilometers are most likely city miles, not highway miles, just from the seatbelt being pulled out every time that somebody gets in to hop in the car to drive. And that's probably a good indication of the next problem. So when I'm driving the vehicle and I come to a stop and start going, if I'm turning right or left, I get a clicking noise. Now, for having only 137,000 kilometers, the Burfields shouldn't be making any noise. But, once again, I'm guessing these are not highway miles. So this car has seen a lot of stop and go and wear and tear. Oh, I gotta fix that wheel now. Also, this has a different catalytic converter and exhaust than the US models do. So when it does come time to replace anything here, I'm probably gonna have to go have some custom pieces parts made to fit what's here. Also, if you look under the car, the previous owner just ran some random wires just hanging loose, not even like zip tied or anything. Coming back here, I'm guessing this is for the backup camera that's built into the radio. So I need to go through and fix all this, and I'll do that at the same time that I add a trailer hitch, because there's going to need additional wiring for that as well. Here's the OEM wheel, and you can see it's not in the best of shape. The tire is a little bit of dry rotted, and it's the original size instead of these much bigger 285 75 R16s. So I wouldn't really want to drive too far on this if I had a flat. Looking back here, let's start with this panel. It was missing when I bought the car. I found the new one on eBay, 20 bucks. You'll notice that there are no rear seats, but there should be. Models with rear seats have special mounting points built into the body. You can see there's 3 bolts here, there's 2 up there on both sides, and there are these recessed areas in the floor with latches. They got 4 of those. This model did have rear seats, however, they are somewhere over in Japan. And any seat that I find in the US is going to be cloth or leather. It's not going to have this suede texture like these seats have. Next problem, the subwoofer. This is the original one, and just look how bad it is, and it sounds awful. This has the rear AC, which US models did not have, so I thought about trying to build like a little box back here and put in maybe an 8-inch, but I just don't have the space, so I'll probably have to go with another 6-inch. The rear seat belts are still here. They're just tucked back in behind here. There you can get a better look of how little space there actually is for anything bigger than this 6-inch. Not much of a subwoofer, but there's the amp back there. This ladder should be over a little bit more, but it was in the way of the camera that the previous owner installed for the radio. So you can see there's marks up on the roof, and it's kind of tilted. It bugs me a little bit, but there's not even a roof rack up here anymore. There used to be. You can see where it was mounted right here, and going up right here too. However, I guess it's also over in Japan with the rear seats. So down the road, I would like to get another roof rack for this. On the outside around the bottom of both of these windows, there's a little bit of rust. This one isn't as bad. They tried to put something over that to kind of stop it, I guess. Over here, this trim is coming off. You can see the mounting point is rusted off right there, just kind of rusted away. So I'll have to fix that. And the rust is also right there in that exact same spot. I'm guessing that's just a common area on these Land Cruisers. These little strips that cover this metal, the bottom of the windows, is all just warped from years of sun. And that's also a very common problem with these. I think you can still get these new from Toyota for like 60 bucks each. And last but not least is the paint. You can see this is from years of sun and UV rays. The part of Japan that this vehicle came from was Tottori, which is very, very sunny, sort of like the Miami of Japan. And the hood and the cowl have been repainted at some point, because you can see the paint is a lot nicer on that. Even like the top of these plastic rain guards is starting to get destroyed from UV rays. And there is fading on the fender flares as well, on this, a lot on the side for some reason, and more on the top. Same fading along the top of the fender on this side. And there's a better look at the roof. So this truck's gonna need a paint job down the road, and there's a nice little gouge right here. But you know what? It's not rotted away like a lot of the ones around this area, so I'll take a new paint job over rust repair.
I bumped into the truck.
Oh, you bumped into the truck. What's left of the truck? Mikey's coming to get that today. And guess what? He's gonna bring Daddy another truck. Is Mommy gonna be happy about that?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope so. You say thanks for watching?
See, watching.